Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have Drake under fire yet again. This time for being brought out by Morgan Wallen, the country singer in controversy for calling black people the hard R. And I know the internet is gonna extra cook this dude, so we'll definitely be looking at some of those reactions as well. And this guy Drake has made literally every possible bad move this past year and a half, L after L, and this is just another misstep in a very long line of missteps and miscalculations. I know it's an American thing, but this happening literally like a day after Juneteenth is wild and so on brand for what people call the biggest colonizer in rap. And I feel like anyone with some sense would have been like, nah, that definitely ain't the move. But with some of the moves he's already pulled, he probably wouldn't have listened to anyone's advice anyway. Because if there were truly anyone logical around him, Drake wouldn't have done 80% of the things he's done this past year. But enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into these clips where we have Drake under fire after being brought out by Morgan Wallen, the country singer in controversy for calling black people the hard R. And I know the internet is going to extra fry this dude, so we're definitely going to be looking at some of those reactions as well. And I know the OV hoes are going to have a field day trying to spin this. Wallen trying to do damage control with probably the most damage-inducing artist currently is definitely hilarious and so on brand. Here is the clip. God, this is so cringe. The allies that Drake has picked this past year, horrendous, man. At the end of the day, they're just as toxic as he is. And if you want to do some PR damage control, Drake, this was definitely not it. Yeah, man, extremely cringy. And if Drake really wanted to play up to the villain role, he's really not doing a great job because he's so pressed and sassy about it all. If he is going to go and try to play the bad guy role, he's going to have to do a much better job. Like I said, I know these comments are going to light this dude up. Context for the whole Morgan Wallen controversy.
Morgan Wallen is back in headlines, this time for using a racial slur. On February 2nd, TMZ shared a video recorded over the weekend of Wallen yelling expletives, including the N-word. And the singer has since released a statement telling TMZ, "I'm embarrassed and sorry. I used an acceptable and inappropriate racial slur that I wish I could take back. There are no excuses
That
to
flew
use
a
this
little
type
too
of language
loosely.
ever. I want to sincerely apologize for using the N-word. I promise to do better." But Wallen's fellow country artists seem conflicted about his sincerity. Over on Twitter, Mickey Guyton wrote, "The hate runs deep, shaking my head. How many passes will you continue to give? Asking
Yeah, isn't this like the second occurrence of him doing something like this?
for a friend. No one deserves to be canceled, but this is unacceptable. Promises to do better don't mean Kelsey Ballerini tweeted, "The news out of Nashville tonight does not represent country music." Meanwhile, Maren Morris
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is be tied to anything like that.
disagreed, writing, "It actually is representative of our town because this isn't the first scuffle, and he just demolished a huge streaming record last month regardless." We all know.
Well, didn't he put out like 40 records on that album? And because he flooded the streaming market with that album, it's honestly the only reason why Not Like Us dropped out of the Billboard Hot 100. It was a technicality. It went below 35th because technically that song is still one of the hotter records out. But because of a rule change, and I want to say that rule was enacted because of Drake, if I'm not mistaken. But because of that rule, that's the only reason why Not Like Us isn't on the Hot 100 anymore.
Though it wasn't his first time using that word.
Nope.
To keep them rich and protected at all costs with no recourse. Back in May, Wallen was arrested and charged with public intoxication and disorderly conduct after being kicked out of Kid Rock's bar in Nashville. And in October, he posted an Instagram apology after his Saturday Night Live performance was canceled when he didn't follow proper COVID-19 protocols. Wallen's new LP, Dangerous, the double album, is in its third week atop the Billboard 200, making it the first country album to do so in 8 years. Since TMZ's video emerged, Big Loud Records has suspended his recording contract indefinitely with the support of Republic Records. Plus, iHeartMedia,
which is saying a lot, but they're obviously not going to turn down the money from the project. This Morgan Wallen guy seems to have had tons of these incidents. So yeah, man, you can't really give the guy any grace because a promise, if it's broken, really don't mean shit. And at the end of the day, if your actions don't represent what you're trying to convey, then all of it is BS anyway.
the largest radio station group in the country, along with others, have pulled his music. For more on this story, head to billboard.com.
And people, I don't know if they understand, but playlisting and being on the good side of these huge conglomerates and corporations is something that's going to be a must. If you're going to at least want to be as successful as somebody like him who's breaking these streaming numbers. And honestly, he's only breaking those streaming records because he has like 40 songs on this album. And sort of the same exact play that somebody like Drake does all the time. Of course, you're going to have the highest streaming numbers when you're dropping 2 projects a year at 30 songs each. All jokes aside, what's so ridiculous about this? Yeah, you're just out of the loop. This is who he is. Yeah, and he's proven it time and time again over the past year. I don't understand what's the problem with this. Be sure you got helped out in the comments right here. No, they can't. Just the internet dork squad showing how bored they are. A not so rare sighting of the OV ho, oblivious to the facts. The white boy said pussy ass nigga and they are mad blaming Drake for it pretty much. Well, when you're going through the stuff that Drake has been going through over the past year, you don't want to associate yourself with people like this. But this past year, he's been associating himself with every single possible pariah there is now across genres. One's a race and one's a PDF. There's a video of him calling people niggas with the hard R. And anyone with some common sense would have been like, how about let's not walk out with this guy? The problem is they want to give Drake shit about this, but didn't say one word about Lil Durk and Moneybagg Yo for making a song with him. A lot of these people are just doing it for the money. But let's not act like people were silent about this. Old white guy hating, even though he's not white. Talking about Rosenberg is white. Also showing the hypocrisy because Justin Bieber said he would join KKK and sang a parody about one less lonely N-word. But he also got very called out about that. And I would also give a lot more grace to a teenager versus a 30-something-year-old. All right. Like I said in the intro, the internet has been cooking this dude, so let's look at some of their responses. We all knew Kendrick won, but it's a different level of victory. No, 1,000%, man. The black community booted Drake all the way to Morgan Wallen. Yeah, man. Savage. Morgan Wallen walks out with Drake at a show in Houston. It's the closer up shot. And that's the thing. These people will have like these racist tirades and then use hip hop to try to profit from. Look how geek Drake looks to be in his denim tuxedo. Yeah, man, just looks cringe to me. Now watch Drake fans support Morgan Wallen and do damage control knowing full well he's an artist POS. Dan culture has a disease. 1,000%. Drake fans love Morgan Wallen all of a sudden. Yeah, because the guy doesn't really have too many allies right now. But Drake walking out Morgan Wallen is where they draw the line. Selective outrage. I don't know, man. Definitely a very big false equivalency, but leave it up to OVO. Drake and Morgan Wallen are label mates, sure, but Drake's too smart to not know the message this sends. Exactly. And if it was a blind spot, that's what a team is for. To catch what you might miss. Well, they've been missing a lot. Unless no one around you feels comfortable speaking up, which may definitely be the case, but yeah, man, at the end of the day, if this guy keeps doing stuff like this, he's just going to kill his own bag, which effectively kills your bag as well. Countdown to then calling Drake alt-right for walking out Morgan Wallen. Guys, when you're a public figure, it's all about optics. So if you're too slow to realize how something is going to affect you, man, then that's just on you, guys. In what world did Drake think is a good idea to associate himself with Morgan N-word Wallen? And yeah, it seems like everyone on the internet knows, and you can't say Drake should know better because obviously he hasn't known better. Morgan Wallen seems like someone Drake would see a lot of similarities with. Good for them. Nah, they were super excited together. They can both make fun of slavery and the N-word together. And I'm sorry, OVHOs, there's no way you can deny the fact that Drake was making fun of slavery in some of those records. Begging Morgan Wallen, boy, you not beating us. Drake push-ups 2024. Supporting Morgan Wallen while being half black is crazy. The same guy who said the N-word with the hard ER. Drake's white side is definitely showing. Drake doesn't want us to admit that he's white, but hangs out with artists like Aiden and Morgan Wallen. And I won't correlate being an artist with being white. I feel like that's unfair. You can't paint everyone with like that broad of a stroke because I definitely don't think that's the case. But Drake is doing literally everything to paint himself to look like the craziest self-hating dude around right now in entertainment. Morgan Wallen brought out Drake. Hip-hop culture is throwing a tantrum over Drake going to Morgan Wallen's concert. Morgan did many past mistakes, and he deserved to be held accountable. But what consequences has he faced? The guy is still literally selling a tons of records to his fan base. But I will say this, if he starts getting pulled off these playlists, those numbers are going to take a massive hit. But they better shut the F up since they praise even worse people, PDFs like Jay-Z and grapists like Dr. Dre. And I don't agree with this guy because Dre definitely gets a lot of that thrown his way. It's not like we don't have people holding these people accountable, but this is just like another whataboutism. This doesn't really have anything to do with that. This counts as a feature, by the way. Kind of glad she gone. That fan base about to bring up that one Morgan Wallen video and question why Drake loves him.
Sure. I gotta tell you.
Tell me. Tell me. I know you want to say it.
The N-word?
I didn't like her.
Yeah, I know.
It already sounds like it's going to go that way.
I think she might have been the wrong girl anyway.
Well, what now?
You tell me.
I'm kind of glad she gone.
I'm kind of glad.
Having a little cringe powwow.
God bless her heart.
God bless her.
Yeah, God bless.
It never seems like Drake is being authentically himself. It always seems like he's acting.
So let's see what else is out there. That's what we need to do. Get that boy more some banana.
Yeah, man, that definitely didn't age well. Morgan Wallen is the country equivalent of Drake, running the game, numbers untouchable, young and unfiltered. Drake isn't a child, guys. He's 2 years away from being 40. Even their music is somewhat similar with expressing love life, feelings, relationship issues, etc. I'm pretty sure that's a staple when it comes to songwriting. I know it hurt, and here we have some major coping, it seems like. I know it hurt reaching for your phones last night and seeing 70K people cheering for Drake walking in. First thing the haters do is mention something from 2 years ago that Morgan Wallen already apologized for. While blindly ignoring him in the You Broke My Heart video, black artists collaborating with him, and us line dancing to his music at rodeos all year. He's supposed to be dead, Drizzy Rogers, not getting loved on. And I don't think anyone ever calls for the guy's death. I mean, most people. 19 days till wireless. Yeah, that's not what people are mad about at all. And Kendrick Lamar is doing that 3 times a week, breaking records, it seems like, on a nightly basis. I don't think no one is calling for the death of this dude. They just want accountability. And to a lot of people, it seems like he's never been held accountable for the things he's done over the last 15 years. You know, Morgan Wallen was in Drake's music video 2 years ago? Yes, you know that. Drake linking up with Morgan Wallen has people upset.
Drake and Morgan link up. Drake showed up at Morgan's tour in Houston. I'm going to try to at least bring some kind of nuance to this conversation. Now, as you can see, this is an older picture. It's not the first time Drake linked up with Morgan. I guess they have some kind of relationship. He was actually in Drake's You Broke My Heart video.
But just because they had a past relationship doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable for what they just did.
This is a good thing to try to use to start a dialogue about 2 subpoints here, which is number one, you guys, every time you start some uproar about something this guy did that you don't like, you reaffirm something in a way that you don't know you're reaffirming, which is you think everything he touches is that impactful. And I say that because, on one hand, I could understand why you don't want Drake to link up with Morgan Wallen because, you know, there's unreleased.
I don't think no one cares. It's just him reaffirming what people already think of him.
Released videos of him saying the N-word, and there was a Saturday Night Live stuff, right? But Morgan has a successful country music career. He dominates the charts. On that side of town, if Drake showed up or didn't show up, nothing would really change. You should be probably advocating for, I guess, his fans to hold him accountable, which they won't. He's a country music artist, right? So that's number one. And then within that point, too, is how much effect do you think people's cosigns have? So I guess you can say this is one beat.
No, they could definitely have a very big cosign. If not, it wouldn't be making the news that it is. Relationships are really key in any business.
Because we just had this conversation similarly, which is arch nemesis Kendrick linking up with Playboy Cardi. And some of you were able to try to use some nuance there and say, oh, well, you know, Kendrick is trying to influence him, or whatever excuse you made up in your mind. Whereas I tend to lean on the side of, hey, these guys are in the industry. Everybody got their agenda. This guy might be.
I just can't take him seriously. I need him to grow a mustache.
Cool with this guy because he wants to enter country a certain way. I don't know. Kendrick might think he wants to work with Cardi because, right? And Cardi's got his own demons. And when we talked about that, I think it's probably selective outrage. Kendrick sees good things in Playboy Cardi, so he can excuse the other. And it's the same thing here for me. Like, do I think Drake should link up with Morgan Wallen?
I just think it looks crazy. I think this guy is taking it way deeper pause than most people are even thinking about it.
Ross, no, but he's clearly also linked up with other people that are not racist, right? So clearly he's more of a type of person. He's good for a cool link up. He likes to be around everyone. If anything, you're going to accuse him of anything, is he's mixy. Cool.
Most
And my
definitely.
second point, which is this one is a little tongue-in-cheek, but cool. I'll let it out. You lot spent a year saying he's not like you. You spent a year saying exactly what he is. He's white, he's Jewish, he's... And then now, he linked up with some white country artist that you don't care about. I know you ninjas don't care about Morgan Wallen.
I don't think people actually care about Morgan Wallen's music, at least the people that are complaining. They obviously don't listen to the dude's music. The conversation people really are having, at least in general, is the fact that, yeah, he's just showing us who he really is.
You know, I know you ninjas don't care about Morgan Wallen because I don't make videos about Morgan. And I cater to you ninjas. Okay? And I know you don't care. And I know you said he's not like you. And now he's doing exactly what you said he is. So why are you in uproar? It's almost like this weird, I don't know how to explain it, like this weird thing where you want to outcast somebody, but you want them to beg for your approval. You want them to have some kind of walk of shame. You want them to do an atonement. Drake's not going to do that. Right? So, with that said,
just gonna keep
I want to
crashing
make sure
out.
that I reiterate, anyone that's white that use the N-word or anything like that, or certain of these guys, I wouldn't rock with. But at the same time, my morality also connects to the fact that I wouldn't rock with a Playboy Cardi. I wouldn't rock with a Kodak Black. And it seems as though you guys are applying a thing where you can be bad as long as you're part of our culture.
Because one doesn't have to look too far or search too wide to find criticism for both those artists that he named.
I've been trying to avoid too many times when you guys go in an uproar about this guy, because I've learned, like, oh, there's only so much you can defend. Like, everybody's just in uproar. The Afro-Canadian triggers people, right? But we can put your time into more productive things, okay? Thank you.
Saying all that while obviously dedicating at least 4 minutes and pre-planning that went into this video. At the end of the day, the people calling this behavior out, yeah, he's right. They don't care about Morgan Wallen. They care about what he did. Because like this dude even said, you should hold people accountable. So in this incident, it's not him that they're going after. They're clowning Drake for what he did and bringing up the stuff that Morgan Wallen did. Certain individuals are panicking about Drake and Morgan Wallen because it's an uncomfortable reminder for them that Drake's career isn't over. And at least me, I've never said that. I never said his career was going to be over, but you can't lie and say his stock and his reputation hasn't taken a hit. The guy has released a lot of music. He's going to always stream unless he does something so egregious that he gets pulled off of all the platforms and playlists because, yeah, like I keep saying, playlisting is literally the cheat code to make sure that your music streams heavy numbers. If you guys remember when everyone was being canceled and people were getting their music taken off playlists, artists suffering like 75% drops in their numbers because playlists have effectively become the new radio, that people just tune into their favorite playlists and just hit play. And the people that want to do all these whataboutisms trying to call out Dr. Dre and other people with obviously flawed moral character, you're just moving the goalpost because that is not the current conversation. It's you trying to cope and try to spin the narrative. At the end of the day, we're calling out Drake for what he did. For walking out this guy who on multiple occasions has been throwing out the hard R. And Drake, no matter how close you two truly are, at the end of the day, I still do think this is just some type of industry relationship. Hey, we're at the top of our respective fields, so they can try to relate to that. At the end of the day, Morgan Wallen will probably call you the same thing if you did something out of pocket, at least according to him. But the fact that you thought this was a smart move or a cool move after all the narratives and things that have occurred over the past year, yeah, man, you aren't the sharpest tool in the shed. And I don't think the guy is dumb. I think the dude can be very calculating and cunning. That's how you get to that level for so long. You have to be willing to do things that probably other people wouldn't be able to do and sacrifice your integrity. But definitely let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Do you guys think it was okay for Drake to walk out with Morgan Wallen? At the very least, you have to think that this was a bonehead move. But that's definitely been on brand over the past year. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this outrage is warranted? I'm definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say on this topic. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel a part of your day. It honestly means the world to me, and all the love and support that you guys continue to show this channel on a daily is overwhelming and probably the biggest reason why I make these videos. So I really want to let you guys know how grateful I am for all of it. Guys, I also want to send a very big thank you to all those that have been joining the YouTube memberships. A small way to support the channel, but definitely goes a very long way. And also a very big thank you to all those that have been sending super thanks. Again, it goes a very long way in supporting the channel. I definitely want to let you guys know how grateful I am for all of it. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. And Drake always seems like he's putting on an act.